Now, how about your father's family? Do you know his
My
name?
father's family, I'm not really that familiar with. There's still two brothers in Russia. A sister-in-law has emigrated to Israel and has made a marvelous readjustment there. That's the wife of his youngest brother who passed away. But my father still has two brothers in Russia that he's in touch with.
You do write to them?
Yeah,
Where do they
still write
live?
to
Where
them
do your
in
brothers?
Gomel.
Where do your brothers live?
In Gomel.
My brothers, I have two brothers left. They're both in Gomel. You know, it's a big city. It's Kubernetes.
But did your parents left all of the children at home, or how did that happen?
My oldest brother, he was married at that time. With one of my brothers left in 1912. And he was at that time in the service. Of course, we were going around together. We knew we meant it. Oh, is it working?
Yeah.
So then when they went ahead of us and they came right to Baltimore. And then when we got married in 1914, it's hard for me to concentrate. So they wanted us, from America. They've been writing, we should come to America, they'll send us money, because they knew here more about the war beginning of
The First
1914
World War.
than we knew there. But it was hard for us, so we all remained there. But during the time, was two of my brothers went south on Maris, went to America. And later on,
Tell me how you got Morris out, sneaking up from Japan.
and later on,
In other words, but what you're telling me is that gradually the family came
came here.
here, and
And in 1923, we decided to go to America. All of us, my parents, with their two youngest children, and us, ourselves, we had two children at that time. We had three, but the night what we supposed to leave, so we lost one of our child
on that very night.
the very same night. So my parents went straight ahead. My parents met the two younger children, and we remained home because we couldn't go. So my father said, all of us showing, he'll go live, somebody meet us. So he let Mrs. Schifrin meet us.
Rose.
And when we left 3 weeks later, we got to Bremen, Germany, the quota caught on us.
The quota closed in the States.
We couldn't get father. So we remained in Bremen for 3 years. And at that time, if we would go straight, my daughter would be born in America, but in being we got
Oh, you were
stuck.
pregnant at the time.
So
That's
she
what
was
you did.
born in Bremen.
So you have the two daughters, Mickey.
No, I was born
Mickey
here.
was born
But I
in
mean, they have two.
There are 4 daughters altogether.
Oh, well, give me the names of your children.
My sister Betty is Betty Gelman is the oldest. Betty was born while my father was in the service in the World War I, and my father did not see her until she was 4 years old, because
Yes.
he was a German prisoner for 3 years.
Well, see, we have to talk about that.
And then there's Rose, who was Rose Rosenfield. They were both born in Russia. My sister Debbie Edler was born in Bremen and did not make the trip to America with them. She was held back in Bremen because she had diphtheria and they would she subsequently came to the States with Rose Shipman.
Rose stayed and
Rose stayed behind because they had to wait for the quota. In other words, my mother and father really wanted to stay in
If you
Bremen
would
with
let
Debbie.
me talk, I would know what she was saying.
And she's telling me the names of all of your daughters.
Oh,
But
The first one is in English or in Yiddish.
yes, well,
I already
Nikki
told
already
you.
told us. But I wanted to ask you, what did you do when you were ready to come to America,
Yes.
and you have to stay in Germany. So what did you do? Where did
We
you go
weren't
to
allowed
live?
We
to
couldn't
do
do nothing.
anything.
We couldn't
Where-
do
where
nothing.
did you go?
My brothers-
the brothers used to send money.
wait a minute. First of all, the company from whom the tickets was bought, they provided us with rooms. We weren't like in Ireland, where we were staying, was 80 people in one room.
80 people in one.
And so the company from the North Lloyd was supporting us with rooms and with food. And for the others, our brothers from America used to send us money.
How long did that steamship line pay for your rooms?
The whole time.
The whole 3 years?
The whole 3
The
years.
whole 3 years?
Yeah, sure. Sure. North Lloyd.
And
That's
how many
it.
people were left from that voyage? About 80 people?
Oh, that's just in one room. There was maybe about.
I mean, when the
well-
quota closed.
The quota for the people was very little. 4 people for a month. 4 people we send out, for 3 companies, like our
North
company,
Lloyd, maybe.
and the other companies,
When you finally came to America, did you come through Ellis Island or through
Oh,
Locust
yeah,
Point?
yeah,
through
we got to Ellis
Ellis
Island.
Island. What do you remember about Ellis Island?
We got there on a Friday night. We were very broken up.
Friday night.
All right, I know on a Friday night. Also, and first of all, I seen a Schwarze there, so it was something we never seen them before. And then they gave us refreshments, little crackers. I thought, how can they bake such a little matzahs? So good. But it's another story to it. My daughter, our daughter, the one was born in Bremen, took sick before we left. And we couldn't take her with us. So she was left with my sister, with Mrs. Schifrin. And when we got on the ship in January, the whole ship knew what's going on with me because I cried constantly. Because I thought, we don't know, we have to go through examinations. Maybe they'll send us back, or maybe they'll send the child back. We didn't know if we'll ever see him after we lost that child in our town. So when we got to Ellis Island, it was bitter. But then the Hayas worked very good. On a Saturday, it was almost dark. An agent came in, he said, your sister and your child, you live on the ship Stuttgart, and they'll go to Baltimore. So of course it was easier.
What was the name of your ship? Do you remember?
Bremen,
Bremen.
New
It was the
Bremen.
New Bremen.
It was a new ship, the New Bremen. It was a very big ship, but it was a very strong winter, so we stayed on one thing, on one plate. We were isolated, so it took longer, with 3 days.
Did you
to
come
get-
in steerage or did you have cabins?
I beg your pardon?
Did you come in steerage? Did you come all together in the ship or did you have separate rooms?
No, we had a cabin.
You had a cabin.
Yeah, for us, me the 2 children.
But did you all pass inspection at Ellis Island with no trouble?
There was inspections, but we didn't have any.
They didn't keep you there.
No.
You went right on through.
No. My brother had to come to Ellis Island to get us.
Yes, I understand that.
Yeah.
And
we
can you,
couldn't
to
go.
go back a little bit, do you know why your family chose Baltimore? Was there other family here?
Because when my brother, the first one who came here, the one was married, she had an uncle here. So that's the reason they came here
I see.
to Baltimore.
But do you remember anything else about Ellis Island?
No, not exactly.
And then your brother came and took you directly to
To
Baltimore?
Baltimore, yeah, for New York, He took us for New York. He had to make sure we have enough money to live on it. He should have left $200 or something like that.
Before you, we get to Baltimore, you're living in Baltimore, is there anything else that you'd like to tell me about your remembrances of Europe? Growing up in Europe, what was it anything that you would like to mention? Where did you have any schooling there at all?
Yeah, there was a school.
Was there a
But
Hebrew
not
school
all the-
for girls or just for boys?
Hebrew school just for boys. Hebrew schools. Not exactly the schools, but each one teach a rabbi used to be at home, and the boys used to go to his home and to be learn.
Mr. Gorelick, is there anything you can remember about Europe that you would like to tell me?
Gedenkstapes wegen Russland.
You can speak in Yiddish if it's easy for
Yeah.
you.
Well,
Gedenkstapes.
what shall I tell you? I
Was it hard growing up? Did you have a good life in Europe? Did you have a good life?
We didn't have any troubles.
Well, till I got to the army, when I was 21 years old, so my 4 years serving, and then got married. And 3 months later, they took me away back to the war. And then they caught me a prisoner of war for
He was
For
as a
3
prisoner
years.
of war for 3
I was
years.
You mean
for
in the
3
United
years.
States
Germany.
Army? In the Russian. Well,
No,
tell
no.
me about that. Tell me about the jail. Where did they keep you?
Well,
No,
I struggled
not
to
jail.
Nica-
No, what was
I
it?
only trenches, for a good while.
Now the
Because you did
Germans.
that.
This was
I
in
am to
In
the-
1915,
this
I
was
got
the German.
caught in Germany. For
This
a
was the
prisoner.
German-Russian
Huh?
Russian-German war.
No, this was World War One, and Russia and Germany were on opposite sides, and he was in the Russian
This
army.
was, but while he was still in Europe, this was with his service in Europe. He didn't
This
come
is
here,
World War One
but he
on
was,
the Russian side.
and the Germans captured you.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it was like,
And well, what did they do with you as a prisoner? Where did they take you?
Where did they take me on? It was in one side of a river, a little river. Because it was the name Norwich, or Osir Norwich, a little river. And the Germans was on the other side. And one night, all of a sudden, usually in daytime, it's not. One night they started to
fight.
shoot with all ammunition, And was there a couple they run away. I had a Haver in
Our boyfriend in the trench.
gewinn mit mir. Ich seh, weil sie mir haben, als man sagt, wenn sie so vielleicht dem ein Leben, ich vielleicht nicht mehr haben, am Schiss, weil heim wegen mein Kopf und hat man schießen mit mir Hargen und was kann man tun. So, dann sag ich hab das, die Germans dann schon da, man schleppt mich schon. So, haben mit mir reingeführt in sehr Trenches. Ich sag, wie kommt von einer Norme, a sickle chalupa, mit gesessen in Junk, in Cake, in Blotte.
I have the
Ich sagte, wenn sie gemacht geworden Beds mit Electricity, mit everything, also wir,
that trench.
No, me toen ze weggefixt. En gebracht in a camp.
Oh, thank you, Mickey.
Oh, it was in a camp. They kept you for how many years? Were you?
I never did
3 years.
not in camp. I was but a year in camp. And I came from a little town there from Germany. I remember the name of the town, Neustadt. A man, you know, a shoemaker, he needs a man to work. So he took me there. I was here all the time till I get to the peace.
So they,
In other words, so they let you work as a shoemaker until
Yeah.
the war
Yeah.
was over, and